What's good, family? What's happening? Give me one. A very important message coming in from my daughter. Not my blood daughter. But I wanted to answer this right quick. So give me a second. I'm not sure if I got somebody watching. Okay, give me 1 second. I have a daughter. Not blood daughter, but just a young woman that I've been young girl that I've been supporting her family. So she just texted me and said she's done with her work. I said I needed to speak with her. Anyway, give me 1 second, people. Please don't go away. Please don't go away. Please don't go away. Okay, I'm gonna actually send her. I'm gonna actually send her the chat so she can check it out herself. Okay. Anyway, all right. So how's everybody doing today? Thank you guys for being here. For people that are here, for people that left, I saw somebody that left. Also, I see that I have a like. Thank you for that. Most people are going to catch this on the live stream, and everything that I say right now is last week. I know that I signed 2 books, and one of the books I couldn't find at initially, and then when I did find the book, it was like $900. This was the book, An Afrocentric Guide to a Spiritual Union. So by Raoul Abin Nefer. So I'm gonna let's just kind of shelve both of those books for now, okay? But okay, so the Afrocentric Guide to a Spiritual Union and the element that One Day My Soul just opened up. So we're gonna shelve both of those books for now. And I do a week to check out. This is going to be your homework assignment. And then next week we can discuss this a little bit more. You can them, or as last time, hold on. I want you guys to just please bear with me. I have my stream keeps getting interrupted. So if you see like a pause in the stream, please don't go sometimes. So I just ask that you guys please just don't go away. Just hang on to the line and just try to bear with me and rent it out. This is a rental space, office space, and you would think that the live stream would be more stable, but it's not. It relates to relationships today. So today we are continuing our discussion. Resist, restore, rebuild. Black Lives Matter. What do you call that? Another like freezing. Okay. Again, please bear with me. We have an unstable connection, and I'm just going to go through this as much as I can. For those of you that get so annoyed that you can't deal with this stream being, frozen periodically, just go to the description. I don't want to hold up your whole day. I know it gets very frustrating. I'm very frustrated. But anyway, today is the second part of Resist, Restore, Rebuild, Black Lives Matter, Part 2. Today we're discussing things that we want to resist so we can get to what Black love is. So every time I see that this thing is frozen, I'm just not going to say nothing. I just speak. So, okay, let me get to these points. Got another frozen stream. It looks like, well, I'm looking at my phone. It says that it's frozen, but this says that it's not frozen. Okay, again, everything is in the description what I'm talking about, but I want y'all to try to bear with me and watch it all the way through. So what are we devoid of shared values? Culture, purpose, unity, and reverence and respect. Here we go. Okay, so what are we resisting? Number one, the new normal, which is devoid of shared values, culture, purpose, unity, and reverence and respect for the sacrifices of our ancestors. How many Black people actually consider these aspects when they go into relationships, or consider relationships, or consider what it means to be a Black person, a person of African descent? We've lost the new normal is devoid of that. It doesn't take into account shared values of our ancestors. It's not healthy. The further we get away from the lash, the more we fall into the trash. That's what I say. Also, Dr. Greg Carr says that we've lost the momentum of memory. We don't take into account our ancestors and our history and our culture. I think that's one of the things that we really need to resist and get back to. Second part, and these aren't necessarily in an order, but they're very important nonetheless. Transactional relationships. Now, I'm going to tell you the definition of a transactional relationships. They are built on the expectation of reciprocity, reciprocity. Individuals are self-serving, making sure they get as much as they can from the relationship for a set amount of work in return. Within a transactional relationship, bonds are broken the moment one party does not hold up their end. So basically, a lot of people get involved in relationships in our community, and in that happens. Somebody's always expecting something, be reciprocity from a transactional standpoint. And they get involved thinking. They get involved in relationships thinking, what can they get out of the relationship? 50-50, it should be 100-100. Yeah, so I was saying relationships should be 100-100. But sometimes it's going to be 199. Sometimes it's going to be 30-70, but it should definitely balance out. But a lot of times the new normal is what can I, times this comes out to sex. I expect money. All of this is really just getting back to what a healthy relationship is, what our culture and our history and heritage is based on. So we got to really talk about that. Ships and not dealing with our past traumas. A lot of okay. Many times we will be in a relationship and not be dealing with some of the issues that we have had in our past. We won't be dealing with our past traumas and dramas or current traumas and dramas. And we'll get involved in relationship thinking that this person will save us from whatever we've gone through, whatever hurt and pain that we've gone through, whatever we've experienced, instead of us really trying to deal with our traumas and dramas. And we expect someone to save us in one way or the other. And when they don't, or when they can't, we get very disappointed and self-sabotage relationship or run that person away. But if we don't deal with our own traumas and dramas and really work towards becoming relationship relationship literate, we'll never be involved in healthy relationships. So before we become involved with anyone, we should be healed and healthy and continue to grow and evolve. A lot of us already know this. We hear this all the time, but a lot of times we don't do that. Now, this leads to my next point. Speaking of shortcuts in relationships, Kevin Samuels, as I've mentioned on Facebook, Kevin Samuels, I consider him the cheat sheet for a relationship, but he's not necessarily a cheat sheet in a way that can really lead to healthy relationships. He's really a brander. Joe Rogan does some of the same things. They brand, they're a brand. They're out to modern woman. They start putting out things that people can access easily, and then people take on those views and those values and think that this is what a healthy relationship is. We start judging men and women. We give them a number, a 1 to 10. You say high value man, high value woman. What does that really mean? Whose values are we basing this on? And a lot of times the danger with Kevin Samuel is he'll speak the truth. He'll speak some truth, but then he'll put that little branding on top of it, and then he'll put simplistic things on top of it that people take and people run with, and people start creating things that aren't relationships. So we got to be very, very aware and very careful of who Kevin Samuels is. He'll take a grain of truth and he'll spread it like you can plant the whole garden. So Got to be very careful. I have two examples of Black women that I feel give more healthy relationship advice and consultations, and they're also in the description of this video. And this is the homework that I want you to have. It's just a couple of videos. Instead of book reading for right now, we're gonna, until we can get this book list together and make sure that people can afford the book list, I'm just giving you links to videos for you to watch. And I'm starting off slow, but I really want us to build. We only do this once a week, this topic once a week. So you have a lot of time to watch the videos, the people that are watching this, and really we can hopefully chime in next week and learn and grow as we go. Okay. Another big problem, one of the things we want to resist or we want to create, one of the problems we have is not having bars or standards, either individually or as a community. We as a people want to resist not having a bar, not having standards individually and collectively on what a healthy relationship. Certain things we allow to go and allow to happen that shouldn't happen. For example, being called out of your name. B word, H word, N word. We should have a bar and standard that says anybody that uses this language and isn't open to correction, to changing this language, they have the bar too low. And they're going to eventually disrespect you as they disrespect our people by using these plantation terms. That's just one example. Standards and bars should be consistency. It's not healthy. Everybody has a phone that can text, that you can call, that you can use. There's no excuse for people to go 2 days, 3 days without use. You know what I'm saying? So that's very. Situationships, which are connections online and off, or better yet, we have a sense of connection through situationships. Situationships are not written versions of relationships. You're talking to that you're in a real relationship. Not always the case. Not really ever the case. So we got to really define what is a real relationship versus a situationship. Situationships are also these physical connections that we have with people. This jumping off, this sex without love. Situationships, when we're using someone or being used, or just because we're in close proximity to the person, mean that we are in a relationship when in actuality it's a situation. The difference between a situationship and a relationship basically is a mutual agreement on what it is, what you are doing if you're actually in a relationship. And if you want to be in a situationship, just don't fool yourself and don't fool the other person. You guys should know exactly what you're doing or trying to do in the relationship. So we want to try to avoid the situationships. Okay, the last point for today, I guess this is a relatively short live because we don't have a whole lot of people on here. There'll be more people that'll come and watch the stream after it's already posted, but hopefully we can still get to at least 20 minutes when we do this video. Okay, physical versus spiritual connection. So that's kind of relates to the last point that I mentioned. And what's up? Is this Isham2W? Is this you, Ishmael? If this is you, Ishmael, we'll definitely talk. I've been getting your messages if that's you. But anyway, physical versus spiritual relationships. Like, do we really, if we are really being honest with ourselves, we should know the difference between a physical and a spiritual. Basically, are in a relationship that's involved, that has to do more than just sex. And just because we are attracted physically to each other, physical relationships never last full time. Versus spiritual connections, or physically involved or not. We're together for a higher purpose, for a higher calling, where we're not just meeting where our egos meet, or where we're not just physically attracted, but we know that we're here for a higher purpose, a better purpose, a loving purpose, one that involves us growing as individuals and as a collective in a relationship. And the problem with a lot of humanity is people stop growing. People think because they become 18 or 21 or whatever the legal age is, that this is what it means to be an adult. This is what it means to be a human being, and that's just not the case. We're spiritual beings having human selves every day in a relationship, and we want to resist that. We want to be involved in spiritual, healthy relationships that are even more than connections. And when I say spiritual, I don't necessarily mean part of ourselves. How many of us are actually really striving to be better versions of ourselves every day, to be the highest versions of ourselves every day? And I find that that's the problem with friendships. That's the problems with life. People don't challenge themselves. They get stuck in their views and their beliefs and in their egos, rather than going to their higher spirit, rather than going to knowledge, rather than going beyond perception. Knowledge cannot be perceived. It's simply what is. Belief is what you believe. Opinion is what you think. Whereas knowledge is what you know and what is known out in the universe. So we got to get away. Physical connections go away fast. Spiritual connections, when we're up for higher levels and higher purposes, is where it's at. So we want to get to that point. Now, this is why I actually recommended the book, A Afrocentric Guide to a Spiritual Union, but I apologize because that book is very hard to find for a good price. I still wasn't able to get it, but the other book that I recommended, I was able to order. It's One Day My Soul Opened Up by Iyanla Vanzant. And below, I have some homework set for next week for people that are serious. We have a very low kind of turnout to my live streams thus far. We have about 20, 25 people that actually watch it, which is really bad, but hopefully we can lift that up. But I've listed 2 videos that I want you guys to watch. One is called Relationship Killers by Iyanla Vanzant, and the other one is Black Men are in my description to this video. If you want to support my platform, my Cash App is Samumba, PayPal, samumba@mail.com. Again, both of these, all of this is in the description below. Now, I think I covered the 7 things that we want to resist. Again, you can go to the description to look at those for people that are just checking in. I have a video at 3 o'clock. What time is it now? It's 12:22 now. Got pretty good time. So 3 o'clock Eastern time, we're doing a video on how these white, quote unquote, white men are manipulating the anti-vaccination movement. I'm going to give you precise knowledge and document about anti-vaccination and making money off of it as a result. Now, I want to say something before I go as well. I have shirts. This is OG Original God shirt. I have a bunch of other shirts that I have out that really talk about Black love, Black pride. I have some anti-COVID shirts in my community. Rather than just asking people to do my PayPal or send money to my PayPal or my Cash App, I got something to sell. So doing these videos, renting this office space, the knowledge and facts and information that we can use to become better people as individuals and in our communities. I've been working with relationships for about 20 years now. I started doing a 7-month series of relationship called the Mayat Series, which is the name of my company, the Mayat Series LLC, workshops and seminars through the job that I was working in Brooklyn at the time. And what we did was we took the 7 principles of Mayat. We talked about got an unstable connection. Okay, had an unstable connection. I'm sorry. But anyway, so we did a 7-month series of workshops on relationships, dealing with the 7 principles of Maya, and I'll list those also below in the description. I'll add that to it. And I've been working with relationships ever since for 20 years now, re-editing that and updating that. And that was a book based on my own experience in terms of dating relationships, as well as my mother's marriage, the last 21 years of her life, which were very, very, very negative. My mom was married to a very negative man, unhealthy, not violent, but it was very, what's the word I want to use? Let's just say unhealthy. And so I wrote a book dealing with that because I always want to know how we working it out in our community. And relationships are so much more than just man and woman families in our own communities throughout the world. And I was thinking about this earlier as people have and I was thinking about this earlier as people of African descent. If we could solve all the problems that we have in our community if we first deal with self, then we deal with what's going on in our family, then we deal with what's going on solution already within us. But it's about us coming together and working through our problems. And because we don't do that, um, we have the problems that we face. It's just so fundamental. So when I say things like Black love matters, Black love does matter. We got to really get that in our head, and rather than just Black lives or just even saying it as a hashtag or a mantra, we got to really put it into it. We got to see Black people as extensions of us everywhere we go and in everything. For me, I remember the struggles of my mom when she was single, the struggles of single moms. Now I relate that. I look at every single mom through the prism of how I see my own mom. That makes things different when you actually start to really personalize, when you see other Black people, when you're around other Black people. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say for now. I hope I was clear and concise and to the point. And I really hope that we really dedicate ourselves to really getting back to what it means p.m. or 12 noon, resist, restore, rebuild. Next week, we're going to talk about restoring, getting ourselves back to healthy relationships. So that's all I wanted to say for today. I'd like to thank everybody for everybody that's going to be watching. Ishmael, I'll hit you on the email. We got to talk about some things, but I've been busy dealing with my own life's things. So we'll talk soon. And thank you for watching. And I hope you guys got something out of this. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me on under the PayPal is where my email address is. But I guess I'll update the description so you guys will know how to be in touch with me. I also do have some t-shirts, this and some other t-shirts. I'll be doing a video at 3 o'clock, like I say, dealing with the COVID vaccine. And yeah, we'll catch up. Thank you.